What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Mussomeli again. Now, I've talked about Mussomeli a lot, but today it's a different story. I've actually got on the phone, well, on a video call with me, Karl Pierre, who has already purchased a property in Mussomeli and was kind enough to come and join us here and to just spill the beans on his experience. And so we've set up this interview. I've already talked to him a little bit before. Karl is a very interesting person. He comes from New York, currently in Florida, and his real estate experience starts when he was 24 years old. And it starts because of necessity, really. He didn't have a place to live, from what I understand. And he, some buddies got together and started real estate. Pretty cool story. The idea that you could just start real estate. I don't know if everyone has that in their mind, but to Karl, it needed to be done. He still does it today. He still works with one of those partners and has, well, we're gonna talk about his life here in a minute. So let's talk to Karl. Karl, how are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome to the channel where we talk about Italian real estate. Now, why don't you go ahead and explain how you came about to know about the 1 euro home that you've purchased?
Actually, it's a funny story. My brother knows, obviously, that I invest in real estate. So he saw a news clip on CNN, and then he sent me a link for the article on CNN that was talking about dollar homes in Sicily. And I was like, so what do you want me to do with this? And he was like, I don't know, just check it out. And I was like, for $1, I'm gonna buy this. I already made up my mind. I was gonna buy something. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy something, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do about it later on. Like maybe do it together as like a family vacation house or something like that. The first thing that I did was contact the real estate agency that was inside of the article. Like if you're going to want to buy one of these Euro homes, you have to contact the agency that's administrating the process. So I did that, and I got an appointment 3 months out, right? Wow. So I contacted them in November, and my appointment was in February. And I actually flew into Italy like at the start of the peaking of the coronavirus outbreak. So a lot of people were like, are you crazy, whatever. I was like, no, man, I'm not worried about this coronavirus. So that's what I was thinking then. I was like, this is gonna blow over, it's whatever. Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. I actually just thought, how could I go wrong with purchasing something for $1 in a historic, country like Italy? I was like, I don't think I can miss here.
I'm going to ask you a little bit more about your background, and then we're going to dive back into the 1 euro home. I'm glad to know that you found it on your own through, basically, it seems that it always comes from like a brother-in-law or something like that. It seems that someone finds it, they pass it to the guy who's going to use the information, right? So anyway, let's get to you real quick. What is your general experience with real estate as of today?
So my experience is kind of choppy in a way. So when I started investing in real estate, it was with college rentals. I was graduating from college, and I was involved in a healthcare program that I needed to do clinicals after graduating. And since I had already graduated, the school was like, well, you're no longer a student of ours, so we can't provide you with housing. And me and my buddies were in the same program. So we were either faced with the decision of renting a house in the same neighborhood or buying our own. And fortunately for us, one of the guys was a mortgage broker. So my buddy that was a mortgage broker actually figured that we could qualify for a mortgage, and this was 2006. So in the United States, for those of you who weren't paying attention then, you could get a mortgage as a dead guy in the United States at that time. I actually, the way I got brought into the deal was I already had a nursing agency, and I had a little more money than the rest of the guys. So they brought me in. One, I had the need, and two, they knew that I had the money to put as the initial binder for the sales contract, because they wanted that good faith deposit. So I was the good faith deposit. Once we closed on that house, we moved into it, and we realized that we could cash flow by renting out all the additional rooms. And that's where the business started, because we started to buy other properties in that same Stony Brook area, right around the university. And then the market crashed and things slowed down for a little bit. But as the market crashed, I realized two things. My real estate business was still generating income, and my healthcare company was still generating income. And I was working as an X-ray technologist at the same time. So I was in a pretty good place when the economy crashed. I was like, you know what? I need to keep growing these things so I could kind of be recession-proof in a way. As the market started to come back to life and debt started to come back into the market where you could get mortgages again, I continued to get more homes and expanded on that. First, it was like one property every 2 years when I had enough money saved up to get another one. And then it started to get to 2 properties a year. And then now I have 19 properties in the New York, the greater New York area. And one of the largest pieces of my portfolio is a shared office space. So I have a space in a commercial building in Manhattan, across the street from Madison Square Garden, and we've divided that into 47 offices. And I think this is a really good way to earn, because I'm renting out each office for an average of $1,500 a month, and this is like a 100 square foot office, right? So, it's pretty lucrative in that sense. And altogether, the entire portfolio that I own and control is just a touch over $15 million. And my thinking with real estate is that as long as you're making a spread between what it costs you to own or rent that facility and what you're generating in rental income, that whatever is in between is your money. When you're owning, you're obviously paying down that mortgage and getting more and more value. And when you're renting, because I do rent out, I have some Airbnb apartments that are hurting right now, of course.
Yeah, a bit.
But that's really how I got into real estate, and more or less my philosophy on real estate, and how it connects to the opportunities in Italy was really I was thinking about buying a Euro home from the perspective of just having a place to escape to, right? A place to just break out to and either vacation or be able to send my family there. It's here's a trip for you. I got a place in Italy that you could stay in. I thought it was
a nice little bonus.
Cool, add-on. Did I think it was a good investment? Not really, but I thought, if I'm buying it for $1, even if I rent it on Airbnb once a month, I should, see some sort of return. So that's really the long and short between my investing career, and what I look for, and kind of what attracted me to Italy.
You've mentioned a few numbers. You said 19 properties, about 15 million in assets. How many properties could you buy in Sicily with your net worth?
My net worth is closer to 5 million, right? And then I would have to liquidate some assets to free up that money. But I guess 4,000 Mussomeli properties, because there's also the fees, right? That are associated with the purchase.
I'd actually like to talk more about that a little bit later on in this. To jump right into the €1 homes right now, to actually talk about your experience, you went there by yourself, correct?
Yep.
And did you have a good experience, bad experience? How did it go overall?
I had a really good experience. First of all, I was happy, right, to just be doing something creative. I guess a creative soul in a way. I like to create. I have a YouTube channel. I like real estate. It's all the same, where I get to put my hands on a project and make an idea real, right? That's right. What I enjoy the most is bringing ideas into reality. The entire process was pleasurable. That was actually my first time in Sicily. I never had traveled to Sicily. I've been to Venice, but first time in Sicily. I was kind of not sure how I'd be received, not sure how I would get by not speaking Italian. I kind of believe in general that people are good, and as long as I'm good, then I shouldn't find too much trouble. My first impression was that it was a ghost town, because I got there at night, right? So imagine an Italian town at night, and I was like, there's nobody here. No wonder they're $1. Mussomeli, what's cool about it is there's the roadways kind of weave past the mountains, So there's like these spots that you could kind of just look out to the view, and it's just like green mountaintops for
That's beautiful.
miles. Like it's dope. Honestly, it's really cool. In the morning time, that's what I was greeted to. I walked outside. There's people, smoking, on the walkway. People were friendly, asking me, "Am I here to buy a Euro home?" Like pointing, like from the cliffside, they're pointing to the section of Mussomeli that is the Euro section. But overall, good experience. I like it there.
Now, you bought a €1 home. Did you buy like the first one you saw, or did you see many options before you decided to purchase?
To be quite honest with you, I didn't buy a €1 home. I bought 2 homes in Mussomeli in the area where the Euro homes were for sale, but I paid very little for them. I paid $5,000 for one, $12,000 for the other. So
Gotcha.
I opted to not buy the Euro home because of what I saw. So when they set up the trip, they take you to the Euro homes, right? And you get to see exactly what you get for $1. Now, what you get, especially at this point, because it's been a few years since they've been doing the Euro homes, the best of the inventory has been taken. So now it's like the really dilapidated projects. Like some of them you can't even walk into because it's considered unsafe. So the first property I saw was trash. Like it was, oh my God, completely wrecked. Actually, I'll pull it up. I'll try to pull it up for you. I think I might have it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of these things. I'd like to compare. I don't know if you've watched my video about Mussomeli. I shared the kind of 5 or 6 properties that were €1 homes, and then I did another video that probably you bought one of these unless it arrived later on, because I went in November, and from what I understand, you were there in April. Or March?
No, I was there in February.
February. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the video came out in April.
All right, understood.
So I'm gonna share my screen just so you can see this. This is a Euro home.
Oh yeah, that thing's still available?
Yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah, exactly. This thing that's caved in. So I climbed up that pile of rocks there to take a closer look at what it looked like upstairs. But
Did you see the stairs? I didn't actually climb.
Yeah, I went up there.
Oh wow. Yep.
That wasn't upstairs. That was a different.
That was a different property. I think I recognized it. That was the first one I saw.
Yeah, that was the first one that I saw too.
Because it's right there, like there's the main piazza, and then it's just right there on the second corner or something like that.
Yeah. So what I bought was directly across from that one. Did they show you that
you
one?
bought? Actually, I did. I think it's in one of my videos.
The Via Piazza.
I don't remember the streets.
I'll show you it. I'll pull it.
I'll definitely recognize it though. I spent a lot of time editing video for those. So you bought that one. Actually, that's what I was curious about, because you're talking about time frames. You called in November. I called in November, and they gave me like 2 weeks. Is all. My video started coming out while I was there, and so I think more people started calling at that point because they had a little bit more information about it.
So this is the outside of it, directly across from the other Euro home, right? That's just me getting situated.
That one was available.
Yeah, this one was the one I paid $5,000 for. It's a corner unit, which is cool. So it has light exposures on both sides, and it's not in bad shape. Here's the inside, right? This is one perspective of the kitchen.
Oh, okay. I do remember it from the inside for sure. This one's the one that has a section upstairs too, so it's kind of like split into 2 entrances.
Yep.
Yep.
And like the bedroom looks like this.
Yeah, I should have known that based on the price you said. Cool, that's yours, huh?
Yep.
I've been in your house.
Well, welcome. Welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
So that was one of the properties that I picked up. If you're going to compare a Euro home that's completely rubbled out like that, right? Compare that to something across the street that's the same size for $5,000. It's going to cost you more than $5,000 to bring it to that shape, right? So I was just using logic and saying, well, if it's going to cost me more than $5,000 to get it to that condition, why not buy it just in that condition and spruce it up from there? Like on that house, I don't expect to spend more than $3,000 to $5,000 in sprucing it up because the roof is in good shape, The windows are in good shape. So it's really just the plaster on the walls, new appliances, putting in an air conditioner, and I wanted probably epoxy the floors.
I'd like to see your second one first, but I'm going to introduce this whole idea because you bought a superior home, as what I've been calling them, and kind of what they call it in Italian. And that home was intriguing because it looked like almost move-in ready. The bathroom's in a weird location downstairs regarding how you could go from one to the other, but that's okay. You could actually make 2 separate units with that property. Since it's not a €1 home, did you have to pay the €5,000 deposit and have a whole restructuring plan?
Actually, no. So it's a €5,000 deposit for...
From what I understand, Mussomeli was a €5,000 deposit for €1 homes because it's like a bond.
Gotcha.
You give it to the community and you just leave your €5,000 there, assuming you don't know how to make money off of €5,000, take it. And until you complete it, you could potentially lose that if you don't complete it in 3 years.
You see, I didn't make it that far.
So you made it to that second house that sold? Give me the house.
Yeah, no. What ended up happening is that was right across the street from one of the Euro homes. So it was like, oh, you want to see one of the premium listings while we're going through some of the other Euro homes. So I was going between Euro homes and premium listings as we kind of snaked through the roads.
Yeah, that's the same.
So I got a sense of, which ones. There were other premiums that were, priced similarly, but I really liked the fact that I had 2 exposures. Like I had that corner unit. It's right by the main square, so it's easy to walk to. So I was like, you know what, this one is better for me. I felt like if I was going to put it on Airbnb, it's going to be easier to give somebody instructions from the square to that home, right? It's like you go up and make a left.
It's like, it's right there. Right. You can see it almost.
Exactly. I could do like a 1-minute video walkthrough to show them how to navigate. If you're further into the village, it might get hard to kind of give somebody directions.
Can we see your second home?
Sure.
Yeah, pull that up. I have to be honest. I did a comparison video where I said if I would buy a €1 home or if I would buy a superior home, which one would I pick? And I actually chose the rubble as my €1 home of choice. Now, I'm not comparing the one you bought because that's aside. Every €1 home is kind of in a similar situation, but out of all of the ones that are just a mess, I would choose the rubble because that was the one that had the upper floor, the outside area restructured, right? With the roof brand new and everything.
Yeah.
So because of that, I would choose that one because of my experience with roofing here. If the structure is sound, you can remodel most everything with a light remodel building permit. And so assuming that the structure is done, engineered, and you get all that checked out, then I wouldn't touch that and I could do a lot of things myself. And so that was my objective. If I was to buy a €1 home in Mussomeli, it would have been that one.
Yeah, for me, I kind of preferred to go with something that was more, I guess, livable. Because think about it, right? Like, this is not my primary investment strategy. I'd rather invest in the United States. That's my personal opinion. So if I'm going to kind of throw money at a project, it's going to be the least amount of money that I should have to throw. So if I was looking at it, if I bought something that was rubble, it might have cost me $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in repairs when I could buy something that is, livable for a fraction of that. So to me, it was just like, you know what, let me just not waste that much money, because to me, I was looking at it as a vanity purchase, not even an investment. So it's like, if I'm gonna just be spending money, I might as well spend the least amount that I can.
I honestly think you made a good choice because as far as the €1 home versus superior homes, if you're going for Mussomeli, the superior homes really did feel like the right choice depending on what's available at any moment. But there's also that third market that is just not historical. You could go live with all the other Italians that all live in a more easily accessible location, but that's no fun.
Yeah. So let me show you. First, I'm going to show you the view from my other place. The second place, I like it, and Yeah. So here's my view, my morning view. Side
Wait,
view
that's your
and
view? You found a superior home right there on the edge?
Yep. I found a superior home on the edge, and you see like this front area here is all my parking, right? So
you can actually park right next to your place.
yeah.
That's actually, I hadn't seen anything like that when I went. I was a little bit, I targeted specifically something with a beautiful view. And I don't know, that's a beautiful view. I don't know why they didn't show me that, but maybe it wasn't available.
Maybe it wasn't, yeah. And this here is the front of the property, right? So you see, I said it has like this parking area in the front, and it's a larger roadway because it's like on the edge. So you could actually bring your car in. Unlike, imagine living on this little side road here, you wouldn't be able to bring your car in. So, you know, I thought that was cool. And this unit here is abandoned. So I'm trying to get in contact with this owner to see if they're willing to let this go, and then I can kind of flex into this side as well. You know, like that, I'm just thinking about like the future of the property. So it's a 3-level townhouse. This is the inside here. So this is the kitchen. Wow. It's not in bad shape at all.
Oh, it's actually in pretty much standard shape for what's available in most of Italy.
Exactly. You know, the bathroom is okay.
Well, so how much did this one cost?
12,000.
12,000. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So here's some interior video.
How was the roof on that one?
Good.
What was the roof made out of?
Terracotta.
Okay.
Is that just these old, like they have these vinyl coverings, but I'll probably take those down with time. But the way I look at it is like I don't have to make those changes. This is like the second floor living room area.
It looks better than my house.
12,000, man. And this is so right here,
off of this bedroom, this little where this couch is, I'm gonna build a bathroom, a full bathroom, just so there's one on the second floor. So I'll cut into the living room area a little bit to build that bathroom. Here's like the third floor. There's like a second kitchen, a little pasta maker.
If you were to pick up the property next door, which wall would you open up? Like, what kind of access would you try to give it? I know you can't really answer that question until you really know what's on the other side, but if you were to do it as of today.
So you see this right wall, this is facing like, with my back facing the facade. So this is facing the rear of the house. So the house is to the right of this, the other house is to the right of this wall. So,
you could make
depending on how it all levels out, I might have to access from the kitchen on the first floor.
I see.
This way.
Yeah, what a great idea.
Yeah.
You're actually done something similar to many others. I've done an interview with a woman that purchased in Sambuca that you can find on my channel. We've seen your properties. Let's move into the process, because from what I understand, it's not the actual process of one of your homes. It's more or less you bought a normal property in real estate. What kind of experience did you have? What kind of documents did you have to prepare? And in the end, if it cost $5,000 and $17,000 for two, what was your final sum? What did you arrive to get it in your hands?
So the process starts with actually getting your codice fiscale. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, it's pretty much your tax ID number or your social security number within Italy, right? So just like anywhere else, they need to track you in some sort of way. So I went to the office that issues them. I applied for it. I got it same day, and then I met up with the real estate agent to draw up the contracts. Now she already had the contract drawn up, so they need to put my my passport number in there, where I lived in the United States, if I was married or unmarried. That was something that came up. And then we had one version in Italian and one version in English. Mm-hmm. I signed off on both of those. I had to put down a 10% deposit, which I signed the contract and I wired my deposits when I came back to the States. And that deposit is actually, it's different than the United States, because the deposit, if I default on the deposit, if I default on the sale, right? Like if I change my mind, I lose my deposit to the seller. If the seller were to change their mind, then they owe you double what you put down, which I thought was kind of cool. So I was like, you know, what protects me? What if they change their mind? They're not gonna want to change their mind because they're gonna have to pay you twice your deposit back.
They've probably been trying to sell that property for a long time, and the chances that they actually change their mind are very low.
After that, the fees, I honestly do not know what they're gonna cost. I'm estimating that it's gonna cost me around like maybe another 10% in fees, just between, because I have to pay for like what we would call title in the States. So I guess you have to pay some sort of notary person. They're the ones who kind of like certify all the documents and record everything. So like your recording fees, their fee, etc. That costs us a few $100s to like a few thousand. I feel like it was a small number that I just was like, all right, this like 10% tax is the way I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a pretty small number. Usually maybe 1,200, something like that. If the property was really expensive, it would go up, obviously. Just to explain a little bit to those who are watching, buying property in auction, for example, there is no notary fee if you pay cash. And that was one of the advantages of buying on auction. That's one of the reasons I do it more often. And but a notary fee replaces the title company completely. They do the same job. So there is no title agency in Italy.
Gotcha. Yeah, so exactly. So they kind of play that role.
Exactly.
And then I actually pay that on the back end. Another thing that I had to do, which was kind of unique, was that I have to pay the real estate agent's fee on the buy side.
Right.
And I was like, why is that? I was like, why isn't the seller paying the fee? And I think because of the value of the property, since it's so low, I think under a certain amount, it's like the fee is negotiated differently. I think that's like another $500 or $600 just for them to kind of facilitate the transaction. So I think all in all, it's probably going to cost me like anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 in closing fees per property.
Almost to the 20,000 range.
Yeah, like 22,000.
22,000. Okay.
For the two. Exactly. Think about that. I want that to sink in. 2 homes in Italy that I could live in for $22,000.
What is the space, square meters?
So I don't know. I can do it in square feet.
You can estimate. Okay, square feet. That's fine.
Yeah. So if I were going to estimate my $5,000 home or €5,000 home is approximately, I would say, 450 square feet. So what is that? 45 square meters?
Yeah, almost. We usually just go by 10 about.
10,
it's a little
right?
bit.
Yeah, so about 45 square meters.
It would be like
levels,
more like 42 or something like that, but that's okay.
Yeah. So somewhere around there in square feet, it's like 450, 500, because each floor is around like 12 by 15-ish or like 14 by, or maybe even 15 by 15, something like that. So around 400, 500 square feet between the 2 levels. The other house is larger. I would probably estimate that to be around 1,000 square feet because there's 3 levels. $10 a square foot, I feel like I'm paying. $10 a square foot. There's tiles that cost more than that, right? Uninstalled.
Yeah, so here that's we go by square meters. I mean, we're talking to an American channel mostly, but they're across the world. We'll want to hear the square meters as well. About 162 per square meter, and when they literally quote like 700 per square meter to renovate. So when you think about taking that one-year home and a superior home, you don't have to do. You have about 550 euros per square meter of play before you arrive to that same point. So trying to find a property that is a little higher quality seems like a smart move.
Yeah, and the thing is, like the little house, the 5,000 square foot house, I've done construction when I was like in high school and early college, so I have the experience to actually do the repairs that I want to do there. And I also met a contractor there that's going to help me. So I can kind of like have some of the work subbed out, some of the work done myself. I'll probably go there for like the month of August and do that work, but stay in the other house yeah, like I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be such a cool little project.
All right, I just have a few more questions for you, but before I get to those, anybody who's interested in real estate really ought to check out entplife. It's his channel, Carl's channel. He runs it from his whole, he basically has an empire at this point, from what I can understand. But he's branched himself over here in Italy. I'm gonna link to my channel on my home. I'm gonna put him as a featured channel because I really like what he's doing. I think it speaks very well with what we have going on here on this channel. And since he's bought this €1 home, I'd like it if everyone would hit like on this video and go and subscribe to his channel right now, because frankly, he's got the experience that many of you are looking for. So go ahead and check him out. All right. All right, Carl, let's get back to it. My last questions are for these people that are interested in moving to Italy or investing in Italy long distance. What kind of advice can you give from your experience on this specific type of investment? Is it a smart move? How can they manage it from far away? What's the best play here?
I think, the first thing that I would advise is kind of what you advised when we spoke about, buying a Euro home or buying one of these homes in Italy. It's like you're going to have to do it because you want to, right? Like this is going to be a passion project of yours. So if you're the type of person who likes passion projects, that's a plus. That's, it's for you in that case. As far as managing it from afar, what I did, the way I found my contractor is kind of how I find contractors in any new market that I go into, right? I walk around and I look for people who are doing work and I check out their work. So I got a chance to walk into somebody's home and say, hey, what are you guys doing here? And luckily for me, the owner of the company spoke English. So he was like, yeah. The guy
you don't run into that every day, so that's good.
The guy who was there, who was running the project, he didn't speak English, but he was like, no, just wait, the boss is coming. And I kind of understood that that's what he meant. So when the boss came, he was bilingual. He showed me around, and that's how I met the contractor that I'm most likely going to be using. So whenever I go into a new market, I try to find people who are actively working, because I get to meet them. I get to see who they are as people first. I see that they're actually doing jobs. Then I get to see the quality of their work. So those are all important things for you if you're choosing a contract, especially if you're going to be managing a project from far. Who are they? How do they present? And what kind of work do they do? And that, finding somebody that you could trust to do your work, because you're going to be wiring money and you're going to be pretty much counting on them to perform in your absence. I think it's important for you to kind of see what they're capable of. So definitely go out there, walk the neighborhood, find guys who are doing work. As far as making a decision, for me, it was a one-day thing. But I invest in real estate, so I make those decisions very quickly. I already knew I was going to spend the money, so for me, it was just kind of like which ones fit my objectives and purchase that. Like my small one, it's like, hey, if I'm coming out to Italy alone, then I just stay there. If I'm coming with my family, then I stay at the large one. If I want to lease one and not the other, it gave me options. So definitely go out there and see what is important to you. Is it important to have parking? Is it important to have a view? Is it important to have space? You have to kind of prioritize what your needs are and try to kind of reverse engineer those needs to what's available. Once they match, then it's just a matter of just following the procedure. At that point, it's going to be a process that the professionals know how to go about. So just make sure you work with people who know what they're doing.
Awesome advice. And definitely everybody needs to understand, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but he's a guy who's holding 19 properties. He has a lot of experience. And if you have, how can they contact you if they have any questions or advice, or what can you do for these people that are a little bit more curious about what's going on in your life?
Okay, yeah. So the best way to reach out to me is probably through my YouTube channel. It's where I'm most active on social media. So my YouTube channel is entplife, which is my Myers-Briggs personality type. If you go to entplife, you can actually pull up my email address in the About section, like for business inquiries. And you can just comment on any one of my videos and I'll see that comment. So if you have any questions on, how I go about it or even just my investment philosophy, reach out. I'm always here for that. And also one thing that I realized when I started promoting what I was doing with my Euro home to my friends, people were interested but hesitant in a way. So I started to think that I might kind of function as like a buying agent for people in the US market that are looking for one of these homes. And I might even try to do like some turnkey deals. Who knows, even when I go back, like I have 2 friends that already told me that they want one, right? Not a Euro home, they just want one of these.
They just need a property in Italy, they don't care.
Yeah. When I go back, I'm gonna probably come back with like evidence of what my final product looks like, and then a few potential projects for them. And then I'll start to kind of like sell like these turnkey Euro homes. So rather than it costing, I don't know, 5,000 or so, I might sell something like that for 20,000 or 25,000 and kind of do deals in that way. But if you guys are interested in that, just let me know. And however I can help, I will, because I actually like teaching and I like working with people. So, don't hesitate in reaching out.
Thanks a lot, Carl. And if you didn't catch it earlier, he does have a series on his channel about his €1 home experience. So go ahead and hit the button over here in the corner and it'll take you to his channel directly. Now, that's it for today. Unless you have anything else to share, Carl, I appreciate your time. It's been fun to get to know you, and I hope that we can talk more as time goes on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
All right. Have a good one. Stay safe.